Summon theme song! Rufus. Wizard!
Welcome one and all, I'm Jane.
I'm Mare. And I'm Tonelli.
And we're the Wizard Nerdcast, 3/4 of it to be exact. And we're here today interviewing Laurie Foster. Say hi, Laurie.
Hi.
She's coming from across, well, not coming, she's here. She's basically here from across the country. So we have to voice interview, which is still cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's kind of my first podcast interview, so I'm kind of scared and excited at the same time.
It's good to start at the bottom and work your way up, so you really nailed it.
That's awesome, though. I would have figured that more people would have wanted to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be because I do some weird cosplays, like the super cosplay and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, that's not something I've seen before," so
yeah, they don't recognize
in
it.
Interviewing you, kind of thing.
Yeah, they don't recognize it, so.
Yeah, but you're not just cosplay. I mean, you're a pretty kick-ass fucking artist, too, on top of it.
Yeah, indeed. Besides the inking and everything, I was looking at your body painting and face painting and stuff, and that stuff's pretty cool as well.
How long?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with stuff that I do.
Well, how long have you been doing it? Like, how long have you? Let's just start with the cosplaying stuff like that. How long have you been into it?
Not very long actually. This is the second year really that I am doing it. I don't know if you call it professionally, but
Seriously,
I guess.
Yeah. We use the word professionally with quotes around it in these parts.
At least in this room.
Exactly.
Well, what made you decide to go at it professionally in quotes? Like where's the allure to cosplaying for you?
I'm trying to think of. It originally started as wanting to model, and as you guys probably know, I live in Montana, so the options for modeling here are pretty garbage.
Yeah.
Cowboy?
Really?
Cowgirl stuff? Like.
Yeah, not my kind of thing. And I did a few photo shoots with some local photographers, and they were, I hate to be honest, but they were terrible.
yeah.
And then, my husband basically decided, you know what, we can do better pictures than this. Let's get a camera. Let's mess around. And I did some more modeling stuff with him, and it was like, wow, this is so much better. And then I started seeing cosplayers, and I was like, this is something I'd like to try, especially since we can take more awesome photos now. And it kind of went from there, I guess.
Well, that's awesome.
So, Laurie, what was your first cosplay? Like, what was the breaking point, the one that you spent way too much time on and really got you far into it?
Darth Maul, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not really Darth Maul. Like, if you want to look at accuracy, it's like a female version of Darth Maul. I remade the costume differently, and I took creative liberties with it, but...
Those are always the best, though.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said those are always the best, though. The ones that are just not quite the character or a mashup or something.
Well, that's what I think, yeah. I got, it was the first time I really put photos up on the internet, like, of a cosplay, and I did get, some criticism of, oh, you're not wearing a bald cap, and you're not doing it exactly the right way, and it's like, no, well, that wasn't the plan.
It's not the idea.
Well,
That's what you get from nerds.
We know the nerd world is very critical of every aspect. If it's too much alike, it's too much different, it's not good. Bad job.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You do all your own, like the Darth Maul, let's just go with. Did you do that face paint and stuff like that? The body paint there?
Yeah, all the painting I do myself. I actually ended up doing a few just full body paint cosplays because, to be honest, it's way cheaper.
Yeah, we learned. We're learning.
And at first, I was nervous about sewing spandex, and basically the next step from spandex is just painting it on your skin. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like the detail in the Darth Maul face alone, to be able to do that on yourself is incredible. Like I mean, I'm not a half of the artist that you are, but like that's just unbelievable to me. What you were able to accomplish.
That's actually an extra hard one because I don't know if other people have to, but I have to put the contact lenses in first.
Right.
And those particular contact lenses, when you wear them, your entire peripheral vision is yellow. So I had to do the face paint while my vision was messed up.
Oh, wow.
That's so weird.
Oh, that's weird.
So wait, you're telling me that you didn't even have great vision and you were able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's another level of awesome there.
Seems like a superpower to me.
So why the need to put them in first? I'm curious.
I'm just like a huge wimp when it comes to contacts. So if I paint my face first and then try to put the contacts in, like I'll have tears running down and my paint will run and it's just a disaster.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I tried putting contacts in once in my life, and it was like waterfalls just burst from my face, and it was the worst experience I ever had, and like I can't do it. So I feel you there in the fact that you're even able to have them in and not be crying.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if I paint my whole face and try to put them in, it's really bad. So I do the torture first and then paint the face afterwards.
The last time I put contacts in, it took 4 grown men to hold me down to put it in my eyeball. Like, I'm a big dude. That was an effort.
It's horrible. Yeah. And you see people actually on like Face Off. I don't know if you guys watch that, but
Yeah.
Oh, we watch it.
They open their eye and they just poke it right in there, and you're like, "What? How is that?"
Yeah. No, fuck you. Not happening.
That's what makes them professionals.
Yeah, I don't like. I guess that's the step. That's what makes you a professional
You
model.
can take shit right to the eye.
Boop, right in the eye.
You work with your husband Eric, right?
Yeah, he does most of my photos.
Is he I mean, now you said it came about naturally. How you guys said how you can do better, and you have. I'll tell you what. I mean, like Jane said, we all had a chance to look through your cosplay and stuff like that, your DeviantArt, your Facebook. Is that something that like he does professionally, like, or is it like something that you guys just worked out together?
He's done a few small professional jobs. He'd like to do more, but again, in Montana, we're not in the greatest area. But he's done some photos for people's websites and stuff like that. And it's funny because he always looks at other cosplayers and he's like, man, I could take their photos.
Yeah, I've had run-ins with your husband on the internet. He is an amusing guy.
He's special. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: cosplaying, like, as something me and Tinelli have just recently gotten a taste for and are starting to really love and are now becoming obsessed.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, what kind of tips do you have for cosplayers, as somebody that's been doing it for, longer than us? What kind of tips do you have for, like, that rush at the end where you're on your way to the con and your costume's not finished yet? What do you got for us?
Well, I try to avoid that situation.
Prepare better.
I actually haven't had that situation, but I would always bring like a mini sewing kit and all kinds of backup stuff, like just in case. When I went to San Diego Comic-Con, for instance, and I was wearing the Blitz outfit, that was actually a costume someone else had made, and it didn't fit 100% correctly, and I was always paranoid of, just like it ripping right up the crotch or something, like who knows what's going to happen. And it's probably always good to have a pouch of, in case that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Some gold duct tape would work really well for you there, huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
I had pins stabbing me in the nuts the whole time we were at the kickoff party.
Because you weren't using safety pins.
You just put regular pins in your eye.
It hurt. I know, Laurie, I actually hit you up on your Facebook page before the Nerdcast got involved with you guys, and I asked you for some advice. I doubt you remember it. It was just a stupid question, but you gave me. I basically just asked you for some general tips, kind of like Jane was saying, and you told me go everywhere, every thrift store, stuff like that is your friend. Don't be afraid to buy what you need to do. You know what I mean? And it was really helpful, and I want to thank you for that, because I just started it more or less last year and been working on it myself, but I am by no means talented with it at all.
Yeah.
He can do some pretty sweet stuff. Don't let him humble too much.
I can make a hat glow green. That's about the extent of what I can do.
Well, I mean, that glow stuff is cool.
But yeah, no, I really.
What made so far is pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, that was a lot of effort between the four of us and others, for that matter.
Yeah, it took 4 people to make those costumes, if more.
But
Yeah,
is
you
it?
guys made them pretty fast. Like, I'm very slow with, because I'm still learning how to make patterns and stuff, so it takes. You guys did it really fast. Like, it's impressive.
Well,
I didn't use any patterns. I just kind of eyeballed everything and put it on to Nelly. I would just measure him and then just put it on him and mark where it would be and everything. Patterns are Greek to me, so I bet that's another type of math that I am not interested in.
did you
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, actually. I get Eric's help sometime with patterns, because it's the 3D, 2D is great for me, but going from 2D to 3D, it just blows my mind. So I'm looking at the pattern, and I'm like, how is this a suit? What goes where? You know what I mean? So it's definitely, it's still difficult patterning.
Where did you pick it up from? The patterning. Yeah,
where did you pick your skills up in sewing and stuff, I believe, is what...
Yeah, that's basically where I'm going. To be
100% honest, I bought a pre-made pattern for a suit, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't exactly what I want, and I just kind of dicked around with it and changed it up and kind of crossed my fingers. And the first suit I made, there were a few glitches in it, but it was still wearable. And then the next time I made, every time you make it, you kind of get better. But you kind of have to make that first one and not be scared to have a weird seam or a weird crotch or something, just to to understand what you're doing, I guess.
What was your first one, now that you bring it up?
It's just the Darth Maul.
The Darth Maul. That was your absolute first one, or did you just something along the lines of first professional, quote unquote?
The Darth Maul was half of my creation and half I bought some pieces to finish it off. The first full suit that I made was a character called Gallant. It was actually for another comic Kickstarter that wanted promotional prints or whatever, and I just completely winged it. The guy gave me some money for materials, and I had never made a suit before, and I just kind of made one. It was very scary.
I saw the Gallant suit. That's the pseudo Mega Man blue suite armor piece. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was the first spandex piece that I've ever sewn, so it was very scary.
I'll tell you what, Jane. I gave Jane a sewing machine that's been sitting in my trunk for months, and she learned how to do it more or less overnight, and just kind of went to town on our costumes.
Thanks to a very kind Australian lady.
Yeah.
Yes, Stella.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of amazed at how the community comes together and things of that nature. Have you had that help or felt that community kind of vibe? I mean, I know you're in Montana. I mean, to me, that's the boonies, but
It is.
do you have a community of people that you work with other than your husband, things like that?
Not really. Most of the people that I talk to or deal with are online. I talk to them about sewing and patterns and ask them questions. The best kind of people to ask are the cosplayers that aren't super well known, because there are some really, really good, like underrated cosplayers, and they have a ton of free time and they'll answer any questions, and I kind of found some of those and they've kind of been my support system.
That's the best thing to do then, because I'll tell you what.
The internet always has the answer, especially in the sewing world, I think, because nobody that sews for a living is a hater. They have so much patience and they're above it, so they just want to share their skills with people, is what I've learned.
Yeah, exactly. And sewing is a tough thing to learn, like from a tutorial. Like you're looking at it and you're like, what does this even mean? These are just diagrams. It's like origami diagrams. It's telling you how to fold it with a little squiggly arrow, and you're like, you have to see someone do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was walked through it step by step over Facebook Messenger, like at 4:00 in the morning. And the person that helped me was so sweet and so patient and was so excited to help me do this. Like knitting on the couch, typing me her answers step by step how to set up a sewing machine and use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Crazy.
You're obviously beyond geeky, because some of the costumes that you're doing, you're not doing, other than Darth Maul, it's not like you're doing like the well-known and like the obvious. You got some deep cuts in there.
Oh, the Jungle Princess Adventure Time costume I love.
Like how deep does your nerd really go?
Oh, I don't know. Like on a scale, or
no, like what do you?
All these questions are so awkward.
Like what do you?
The math needed to answer your question. I don't know, 3.
Fuck. All right, fuck all yous. What I mean is,
I don't know. I'm a pretty big nerd. I've always been into Magic the Gathering.
Hell yeah.
Had problems with spending way too much money on Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, you gotta come visit them.
Yes, come to Philly. Come to the East Coast. We can hang out and play Magic and bake cookies.
Oh, I plan to. I'll bring my cards when I come then, if you guys play. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Usually when girls say they play, it's just a deck somebody built for them. And, it's terrible. There's no female players out here.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I actually did. I did a few Magic tournaments in Montreal. Montreal's where I'm from, and I'd always go in, and it'd be like me and 200 dudes, basically.
Yes, exactly.
what?
And they're looking at me like, is she going to be terrible? I'm pretty sure she's going to be terrible.
Right? Yep.
Then you just sucker them in and blow them away.
Exactly. You have to be the shark.
Yeah. I've also been big into D&D. I haven't really found people to play with here, but I love Dungeons and Dragons.
You'd fit right in here.
I mainly played 3.5 and 3rd edition, and I didn't get into 4th edition at all, so I'm kind of not old school, but in between old school.
Yeah. Elderly school.
You're retro old school.
Yeah.
What Sonalia is saying is right. You would really fit in over here, and you're saying you're in a pit of boring people that nothing fun exists out there. You should move over here because we have all those things and are having that problem too.
Really, this is just an intervention.
Yeah, I definitely want to come. The thing we do have here, though, is the Rockies, and that's my sticking point. Is it's so beautiful here, and there's so many places to hike. So I'm kind of a sucker for that, but yeah, everything else is anything social is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
What took you out of Montreal to Montana?
Eric. Yeah, he lived here, so I came here to live with him.
Oh wow! All right, so you like straight up love story kind of thing then.
Yeah, kind of weird, but yeah.
What else are you a gamer by any chance too? Because I'll tell you what, if you're a gamer, I think Jane's gonna fall in love with you.
A little, maybe a girl crush.
Yes. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I am, but I'm kind of anti PS4 and Xbox One right now. I'm a big Wii gamer and I'm a big PC gamer. I'm not a big console gamer aside from the Wii.
What are you doing on the PC right now?
What have I played recently? Well, Skyrim, of course. course, is a big one for me. I love Skyrim.
Yeah.
I have the new Tomb Raider. What did I play recently? The Stanley Parable. I don't know if you guys have played that. It's really fun.
I haven't played it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's the same dudes who do Portal. And it's like a really, it's creepy and funny, and it's a short game, so if you don't have a lot of time, it's a good game.
I like,
love those guys.
I just, sometimes I just search through Steam and go through all the free games in Steam, and there's like 15-minute games you can play through sometimes, and I find a lot of cool stuff that way.
Yeah, I'm really bad with Steam and Humble Bundle. Like, I keep snapping up Humble Bundles, and I have like 100 games in my Steam that I haven't tried yet that I should probably get on.
Probably. That's my problem too, is I start getting games that I'm excited about, but all these games, they take 1,000 hours to play fully, so...
Yeah, exactly. I was a big World of Warcraft nerd for a while as well. Eric and I actually ran a raiding guild for a couple of years, so I guess that counts as gaming.
A couple of years? Yeah, I'd say that counts as gaming.
Yeah, that's almost professional at that point.
Now, Jane always falls back on League of Legends. Falls back. Every time I walk in the house, she's playing fucking League of Legends. Have you ever tried that out?
I haven't tried it yet, and I know so many people who play it, and I still haven't tried it.
It's good
But
for
maybe I should.
sessions. It's good for sessions. It is.
Yeah, it's quick gaming.
I have no idea. This shit.
It's full PvP though, isn't it?
It is all PvP. That is the one downfall to it.
Yeah, that always makes, like, you get so...
Yeah.
It's so easy to get stressed out and angry with people with PvP, so I'm always nervous with PvP games.
I just go into it like with a laughable kind of concept too. I'm just like, look, if I suck either way, the game's gonna end in 15 minutes. So I'm never gonna see you guys again.
Yeah, I have a relaxed attitude about it.
Yeah, she sounds relaxed, but in reality, she's throwing shit and yelling at the computer almost every time I walk in the fucking door.
Screaming through a wall like Banshee.
So by no means is
That's
she
me too,
relaxed.
so I understand.
Hey, I take my games seriously.
Obviously. Fuck. Now, have you always been an artist too? I mean, because obviously you're doing your own body paint, so that, and like I said, that's an art in and of itself. Have you been drawing, sketching, inking, painting even like your whole life, or is that something you picked up later on, or how did that work out for you?
Yeah, I've been drawing probably forever, but my problem is wanting to do too many things at once, so I haven't just sat down and only drawn. So I'm okay at drawing. I do some illustration. I do graphic design. I did that for a while professionally. And I've always wanted to ink, but didn't know I had the opportunity to, and eventually worked on illustrating, worked on graphic design, and in my free time did inking pages, and eventually someone was like, I could pay you some money for inking.
When did that start? Like, is that a recent thing? Like, I'll pay you some money for inking?
I'm trying to think of the first inking job that I got. Well, inking for Super was the best inking job that I got.
Well,
It's the most notable one. But before that, I got a few like odds and ends type of jobs. Just do like a promotional poster, or do this, or ink a few pages for a lot of people like to do just 3 to 5 pages, and then they hand it into a publisher, so that kind of little stuff like that.
I like
So probably
pilots.
just a couple of years ago, basically, is when I started with that.
Do you like to take on like larger projects, or like something smaller, more intimate stuff?
Would you
like
rather
that?
have more small projects?
Yeah, probably for me. I have to do all kinds of different shit at the same time, so the more projects, the better for me, usually. So
then, like, the long term then is, other than Super, you're you definitely don't. You're not looking for anything larger than that, right?
Yeah, like what's your end goal here for you as a cosplayer or a comic book creator or anything? What do you want to do when you grow up?
Right? I'm not sure. I'm just kind of doing all the things that I like and hoping something sticks, honestly. I mean, it'd be great to get picked up by a big publisher and do some work for them as well, even if it's just odd jobs. That would be amazing. I am working on 2 other books right now with just small indie comics, and I love doing that too, so I'm all over the place, and I like it that way. So. There's no real end plan.
Well, you know what though? You're still doing everything and then some. You're doing more than most of us could even ever dream. Between the modeling, the inking, the cosplaying, and everything in between, you got your plate full, but it seems like you're enjoying it.
Thank you. Yes, I am very much.
Do you now? I know we've talked professional in quotes. Do you have I don't know how to put this, like a day job? Like, I know you're this superhero everything at night, but do you have like a day job that you keep?
I have a part-time job to kind of supplement my income, because I do, at least right now, am making enough money inking. But part-time I do medical transcription. Sounds pretty boring.
That is very different.
I like it because I get to type about new diseases and I learn about drugs and doctors, and it's kind of interesting.
That's cool.
It's kind of completely different from everything else, but...
Yeah, that's definitely different from everything else that you're doing.
That's actually a pretty sweet kind of a thing to have in your back pocket, though. Having that extra like bit of medical knowledge actually certainly helps with makeup theory and stuff as well.
With what? Sorry, you cut out a bit on that.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that having like medical knowledge helps with makeup theory as well, in the terms of colors and bruising and stuff. So it could help too.
Yeah, definitely.
How long have you been doing that? Is it like something that's been long term, or?
The transcription's been about 5 years.
Oh, shit.
So it's at least you got steady, supplemental stuff going on.
What about how long have you been in Montana now? In your your desperation of help no one being there. How long have you?
I'm trying to think. 6-7 years. I'm looking at Eric because he's sitting here actually. 6 or 7 years basically. That's how long I've been here.
You guys seem to be like a pretty. At least you and Eric, you guys seem to be like you work well together. Has that always been the case? Is that something that he's wanted to do, or is it something like that just kind of happened because of mutual interest?
Kind of both. We're one of those couples that are probably drive people nuts. We're attached at the hip constantly. We just like doing everything together. So if I want to do something, he ends up doing something that is involved with it, and if he does something, then I help him with it, and it's kind of just, we do that all the time.
Well, I think that's awesome, personally. I think that's like kind of a rare find in life, getting all on that tip, not trying to be all relationship people, podcast interview time with Tonelli, apparently.
No,
but I think it's really cool that you guys have that kind of connection. You can always share your accomplishments in life. That's important.
You need a nerd to be a nerd, basically.
Yeah.
True. Nerds need sport.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I find we've met some people who are irritated by it, but like he doesn't really need his man time. Like, a lot of people they have a man cave or they have man time, and it's like, well, we just have a cave and we both like it. You know what I mean?
It's overrated anyway.
So we know that you've done a pretty phenomenal job so far inking with Super, and working with them guys. That whole world is awesome, and we love it. We're big fans of that. Do you do any other comics currently?
That you
Do
want?
I work on any other comics?
Yeah.
Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Sorry, the quality went a little weird again.
No
sorry.
problem.
Yeah. I'm currently working on one comic called Spirit's Destiny, but that's kind of slowed down because the penciler is not outputting pages, which tends to happen with indie comics. Writers hire newbie artists and the artists disappear, which is unfortunate because she's, spending her own money to make this comic. So that's kind of frustrating. And I'm working on another comic with a publisher called Chimera Press. It's called Pet Noir, and it's a sci-fi comic about a cat that talks with opposable thumbs. It's very unique.
Well,
the room just perked up in like a heartbeat here.
What cats?
Is it like a comedy, or is
it's really
it
fun? Actually, I'll have to give you guys a link at some point. But
Yes.
Yeah.
and we're on issue 2 of that. They released issue 1 at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I think it's coming out on Comixology. Like, it's just barely released, so you'll probably hear about it. It's a very weird subject.
No, well, you've certainly piqued our interest, and now we're gonna have to look for that now too. So, but
Yeah, no, I want to follow into that.
yeah, definitely, I'm interested in the cat comics. But let me ask you, Laurie, have you ever had an idea for your own comic book?
Not so much. And my husband's actually had a few ideas that he'd like to, that I'd work with him on, actually, if he ever decided to flesh them out.
Is that the polite way of giving him shit?
Funny, but yeah, he's more of the writer than I am. He's more creative like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that would be nice to work together, on something like that. Me and Mara have been trying to do stuff like this, and our nerd it became the podcast, so now all we do is talk about all this stuff, so we can just talk about nerd stuff all the time, so that's our thing. Like,
well, that's awesome. That's great.
I just want to go back to your Pet Noir for a minute. Actually, for both of them. You're inking on both of them, or are you doing? I mean, not that that's not a chore in of itself, but do you have other tasks on that, like other responsibilities on them?
No, just on those 2, I'm just inking.
Does that I want to actually ask you about the inking, if you don't mind, because I'm always I used to be an artist a long time ago, but not so much anymore. I'm always admire the people that put the ink to the paper, because it's really it brings the page alive more than I think even the standard pencils do. It does. It adds the dimension to it, and you've definitely done some really detailed and outstanding stuff. I mean, I'm referencing Super because that's the first thing I saw you on at the very least, and at this rate, it definitely won't be the last, because I want to look up Pet Noir when we're done. Is that something that you've been doing for a long time? Is that something that you just found yourself good at, or something that you learned, you taught yourself?
well,
Well, I started with illustration and just kind of went into inking. I've kind of always wanted to do something in comics though, since I was a kid, and I don't know why inking always appealed to me, but it did.
What did you? Now you say comics since you were a kid. What were you reading as a kid? What brought you into the comic world?
I'm trying to remember. The main ones I remember really liking when I was a kid were Spider-Man and anything with Carnage in it. Like Carnage was my favorite when I was a kid, which is really weird. But
the quarter of the podcast that's not here doesn't know anything about comics, but the fact that you just brought up Carnage is the only character he really knows.
Of course he's not here for
and I also used to, I'm trying to remember, Archie, of course. I don't know if that counts, but...
Absolutely. Yeah. Have you read some of the new stuff?
some dark stuff.
Some of the new Archie stuff? No.
Yeah, some of there's
He's dead now.
No, there's like there was an Archie versus Predator. There was
Oh Christ!
it's
I heard about that.
The new Archie, like it's got like an underworld theme to it.
Afterlife with Archie.
Afterlife with Archie. That's what it is.
He's dead.
Yeah, the supernatural. I think he's alive now. But either way, no, Archie counts. Archie totally counts.
Okay, that's awesome. I don't remember what it was called, but it was Joe Madureira drew it, and I used to love I probably liked it more for the art than I did it even care about reading it when I was younger, but I loved him when I was a kid as well.
You piqued Mar because he seems to have an interest more in him. Do you remember like anything about it? Because I'm pretty sure he wants to try and figure it out.
Oh, you do too.
I'm trying to remember what it was. I was just talking about it with Zach the other day, actually, and he knew what it was called, and I can't remember it.
Zach's an encyclopedia. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is, exactly. Yeah, he makes me look really bad when it comes to comics and stuff. I can't remember what it was called.
Are you an avid reader now, or even a fly by night reader, more or less, of comics in general?
I like reading comics. I don't really have the money to, like, I know some people who spend $100 a month on comics, and I can't afford that. But recently I've been reading more Image stuff, so Rat Queens and Sex Criminals. I like Sunstone. I haven't read anything recent from Marvel or DC, to be honest with you.
Actually, you know what? I've been hearing a lot about Rat Queens. A mutual friend of ours actually just demanded that I read Rat Queens and swore that it would be, the best thing I've read recently and everything, so...
Yeah,
that's
it's fantastic. You should absolutely pick it up. Yeah.
All right.
Really
well, now I guess I have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons and humor and on crack. Like, it's great.
Hey, I'm interested. Let's do it. I will read that.
Well, out of the big publishers, I think Image puts out some of the better stuff. At least in my opinion. Now, I just got done reading Birthright. Have you had a chance to read that yet?
Yes, I have the first trade of Birthright actually, which I also loved. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no, I really like the fantasy. Like, I mean, I've always been into superheroes, and it's always been my thing. At least it was when I was a really avid collector. But now I'm really getting into the fantasy aspect, and Birthright really picked it up for me.
Yeah, that's a perfect fantasy comic. Yeah.
As far as how about your comic inspirations or stuff like that? Is there anything in general, anybody specific that you admire or try and emulate? Yeah, thank you, Mary.
Emulate, not really. I'm kind of all over the place depending on what the person I pencil. English words. Sorry. I'm all over the place depending on what is needed. So if the penciler pencils a certain way, I'll change my style. Like, I don't have a fixed, very stubborn style of inking. I'm generally more a fan of cleaner styles. But some people can do messy really well, so it's all over the place. I can't rattle off names like Zach can. So
Ben Templesmith.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be able to do that that's a talent, because I've seen like you said, the sketchy and the sloppy and stuff like that, and then the fine lines. But you're able to adapt to them all, and that takes talent.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it was that talent that Zach and Justin found you from, right? I mean, they got you off your DeviantArt page. Is that where they found you?
They did, yeah, and they had me do a sample page, which they have everyone do, and they were like, they couldn't believe it. They were like, we've asked 15 people to do this sample page, and this is by far the best. And I was like, okay, I didn't realize I was that good, but that's good.
Well, that's got to be pretty awesome. I'd feel pretty great about that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess I did something right, so I'll continue to do it,
Yeah.
How long have you been working with them now, Justin and Zach?
3 years, I think, maybe 2, somewhere between 2 and 3.
And where?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I don't. I'm kind of bursting at the seams. Shut up. Kind of with questions.
I actually, when I first started working with them, I was just inking, kind of on a contract basis, and I chatted with them, but not, and we sort of became close friends, and then Eric and I ended up, becoming co-owners with them, and like I edit the comic and I do all kinds of other stuff now, so I'm not just an inker, and so I'm really happy about that.
Do you have any? I mean, I know you said you don't. You're not the writer, at least not the writer mindset. Do you have like the input on the stories and stuff like that, or do you try and stay away from it?
They have mostly everything kind of down. Like Zach, especially, just has everything in his head. I just help them like get it out, like make it sound good. So kind of edit it and smooth it out. But they have all of their ideas. They're basically they already know all of their story. It's kind of amazing.
Their Bible, right? Basically.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like I try to study all the kids. There's so many characters. Like
All right, now I've asked Zach and I've asked Pyatt this question, but they're kind of partial to them, and I know you are too. But do you have a favorite character from Super? All right, how about this? Is there a character that when you see him or her pop up on the screen or on the page, you're like, fuck, I have to ink this character?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm trying to think of who my favorite is to ink.
Mara wants you to say Silhouette so bad you have no idea.
Yes, I would say Silhouette. My least favorite to ink is Blood Death because there's always like 100,000 bullets.
I was just gonna say.
And every time he's on the page, like it's just there's stars and stripes and bullets just everywhere.
America, that's right. America.
I kind of figured it would be Silhouette as well, just because Silhouette is like to a lot of us the first character that really pops out of the story, and like especially out of the page.
That's because we're all creepy.
Whenever Silhouette's on the page, there's tentacles and like weird
Darkness.
like green light, and it's just always interesting to see, and you're like, damn, that's creepy, and I wouldn't want to meet it in a dark alley.
Yeah, and it's also just from an artistic point of view, Silhouette is always like flowing all over the place with the cape and the scarf, and for inking, it's awesome. You can go all kinds of stuff with line width variation, and it's really fun. Yeah.
I like the different okay, there's so much black in the picture, but how you make the black stand out is important, right? So you got to give dimension to the different shadows and everything, and I think you really do that well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll tell you what, we got a peek. You guys released it, the cover to issue 6. That was phenomenal. I'll tell you what,
crazy.
We probably fanboyed out over it pretty hardcore. How was that like in your inking process? Because that had to be a pain in the ass.
Tell us about that journey, the cover to issue 6.
That actually is a journey. So basically when he gives me a page like that, because I ink digitally, so I zoom in really close, and I'm sitting there inking away, and I'm inking away, and it's like 3 hours later, and you zoom out, and you're like, what the hell? That was like the bottom left corner.
Oh, Jesus.
I still have all this other shit to do. But it's also really fun. That was one of my favorite pages that I've done. There are some pages. We're still working on issue 6 right now, actually, and there's a lot of Silhouette in there, and there's a lot of really fun pages recently that I've been inking that I can't tell you about. But
come on, you can tell us a little.
Just a little
bit. What do you remember as far as Super? Like, what was the page that they gave us? What gave you to do? Was it like a specific page in the book in Volume 1, or was it something completely oddball and out there?
No, it was a page. It was I don't remember which page in issue 2, but it was Baron Blizzard and all the Hockey Warriors and a whole bunch of ice and just like a whole bunch of. Like, it was like a 10-hour page. That was the first page they gave me.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
so they really wanted to test you then, right?
Yeah, it was a good pick for a test page, definitely.
What does an issue take you to ink? I mean, like, you're talking 10 hours to do that page. I mean,
how many hours is it to do a complete issue?
Quite a few. And it kind of varies. But the worst pages, the longest pages, I should say, they're not the worst. They're still fun. But Zach tends to do, like I think it's I believe it's issue 2. He did it's like a panel and it's a quarter of the page and it's like 300 people at a science convention. And it has like every single doctor from Doctor Who, like in detail.
Oh, that's my favorite panel.
I've seen it. I love that page.
But it's like in a quarter of a it's like a quarter of the page. So you're sitting there, like, that panel takes, like 8 hours. So some of the pages are insane. Some of them are easier. Yeah, it's hard to say.
You know what I'm curious about is actually the process of putting the comic itself together. Like when you ink these pages, right? And I understand editing and Photoshop and everything, how you have these massive pages because they have to be pretty big to support all the data on those incredible sketches or drawings that Zach gives you. So I imagine the files for them are pretty large and they're pretty big photos. So scaling them up and down and fitting them into the comic just right, into the panes just right. What goes into that? Like, how do you, how does that work? What's your process,
basically?
Yeah.
Well, he scans everything at, it's 11 by 17 and 300 dpi, so it's pretty big. And it's basically that size until it goes into the book, which is why we have, I don't know if you guys saw, like, our banner at Comic-Con. It actually looks really good because it's art from the book, and everything from the book is high-res art, so...
Yeah, we put a sticker on it.
So, yeah, everything is huge file size until it goes in to print, and then we resize it to whatever size it needs to be, basically. But besides that, we don't really mess around with it.
I guess we'll stay on the super, but what now I know you guys you're towards the tail end of the Kickstarter now. Is there anything more I mean, I know it seems like every day you guys are coming out with a new tier or something else, and I know we've been doing our best to try and push it and things of that nature. Is there anything like you guys maybe want to tell us now, like about the Kickstarter, or anything else that you're working on for it?
What's your plan?
Wall, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah, there isn't much new. I'm trying to be optimistic about it right now, but it's not looking great. But, like, I'm not too concerned about it. We have our Patreon that I'd like to focus on if the Kickstarter doesn't work well. And we're just going to redo the Kickstarter anyway. I'd like to kind of, if we have to redo it, I'd like to kind of size it down a little bit and offer... Like, we have 6 billion rewards. Like, most people don't even know we have stretch goals because there's 14 pages to scroll down on the left side.
Yeah.
There's too much, and I'd like to kind of streamline the rewards.
Focus.
Yeah, that would probably make it a little less confusing to people that would want to contribute,
Yeah, because, like, I think it's really exciting for people who already like the book. They know what to expect from us. They know we do all kinds of stuff and they want all kinds of stuff. But for people who've never seen the book, they're like, oh my god, this is overwhelming. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't know what to expect from that kind of thing, so it kind of scares them away from it. But you guys don't seem to be having any kind of break in stride or anything. I mean, like, you've been slipping us like shots sometimes of issue 6 once in a while. You get Zach drunk and he'll fucking talk about, stuff that he shouldn't talk about. But, like, we're excited. We're excited for what's coming.
We're still going strong. We're still going to release issue 6. It's not going to stop us with that. We're going to keep going. So it's coming out. Don't worry. I'm hoping end of November. They're saying December, but I'm hoping sooner than that.
Yeah, we were given the November time frame, and when I asked about that, he was like, "It has to be done in November because of this, and this." And then I'm like, "Well, Tonelli said to me it wasn't released in the comic book previews, so we were like, maybe it's not coming out." So we were a little confused on the release date.
You guys are aiming for Comixology, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You guys are aiming on Comixology for like the release, because you're not looking for an imprint, at least not right now.
Yeah, right now we can't deal with the print. Yeah, that's why you probably didn't see it. Yeah, it's just going to be Comixology for now. I was debating, running a Kickstarter to print some individual issues because I know some people really like having the individual ones in hand. So I'm still kind of torn about that.
Do you have a preference yourself, like digital versus the, I guess, old school now?
Yeah, traditional.
Yeah, traditional.
Sorry, you guys cut out a lot on that.
Sorry.
I heard digital and traditional, and I didn't hear any other word.
Do you have a preference on digital versus traditional? In comics wise, I know you're saying like you're talking about maybe running a Kickstarter to just run individual issues. Like, I mean, I know personally, I love the traditional. I love to have the paper in my hand. But I'll tell you what, if Super's only coming out digital, I'm getting digital.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I always prefer to have it in hand. The debate is more, I guess, individual issues versus a trade.
Right.
Individual issues are tough for indie companies in general. Because a lot of people just don't get them and they wait for the trade. So it's more of that than anything else. Like, I definitely want us in print whenever we can be. It's just the individual issues versus the trade that, like, I wish we had individuals of 4 and 5 too, but it's harder to make money back, or you lose money on printing individual issues.
So have you guys considered perhaps doing the individual issues in digital for now and then releasing the trade until you can further the individual issues for collectors?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. So 4 and 5 were both Comixology, and then we released the first trade, and then 6 and on will be on Comixology unless we can fund printing or anything special like that.
I got you. So we're working on the Kickstarter now. You guys got that going, and we really hope that works out. But why don't we talk a little bit about the Patreon? That thing, the whole idea of the Patreon still kind of confuses me. Just the Patreon in general. Now, can you explain to us a little bit how it works?
Yeah, sure. Patreon is kind of the way we're doing it anyway. It's kind of like a subscription. So you pay a monthly fee, and then you get cool stuff depending on how much you're donating per month. Patreon is less reward based than Kickstarter. So people going in to back a Kickstarter are generally are like, oh, I'll give you $20 if you give me a book. It's like they're expecting more of the reward and less of supporting you. Like, they are supporting you, but you know what I mean?
Right.
And Patreon is kind of like, I really want to support this company or this project, but I want to get some extra cool stuff along the way. So, like, for people who donate $5 a month, they get, I'm trying to remember, they get the latest issue. And for people who donate 10, they get a bunch of, unreleased sketches, and then they get a page-by-page. Like, right now, anyone who's donating more than $10 on our Patreon gets, like, a page-by-page of issue 6. So they see the pencils, and then the inks, and then the colors.
Very cool.
Seeing the pages of the issue, and then so on and so forth. So at $50, they get an appearance in the comic, and it goes crazier from there. But so it's more of a subscription Kickstarter, I guess is how you put it.
I see. I see, like, the Patreon being something you should focus more on anyway. It seems like the people that care more about the project seem to be really pushing that Patreon.
That's where the fans are.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and it's a monthly support, so, it's steadier. Like if we actually ended up with enough monthly, we could, go back into previews again, and we could print issues again, and we could go from there, and then basically just use Kickstarter for, like, let's say printing fees for a trade.
Right.
And that would be definitely awesome.
Whereas the patron would help us pay to make the book, to help pay the artists and stuff.
Yeah.
And we definitely hope for that, and we'll keep, we will keep telling people to throw their money at you and tell them fools if they do not. But
Jane will yell at them excessively.
Yes, buy it or else. But it's been really great talking to you, Laurie. We talk sometimes, outside of professional businesses, and like so far, I think everything has been pretty cool. Up until, the little stutter with the Kickstarter, and that's okay, because I really think that Super's gonna push on beyond that anyway, because
Easily.
it's too good. It's too good to not.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. It's just a bump in the road, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? You guys will be better for it. And I know you've been doing it for a while and it's chugging along, but the fourth guy that's not here, DK, he doesn't read comics. He tried to get through a comic one time and he couldn't do it, and it was a Batman comic, and I mean, Batman's Batman. I think he's in your third issue now.
Yeah,
of the first trade.
He's had the trade.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's had volume 1 for a week, and he's 3 issues in, and that is pretty serious.
That's significant for this. Like, you got to understand something. This is a guy that he's here. We love him, and he loves horror and stuff like that. He's never seen a Star Wars movie. He doesn't get half the reference. Yeah, he doesn't get half the references that come out of our mouths. But he's reading your book and he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
And he's all for it and all about it. So your book is good enough to suck in not just the us who are the comic reader, but the guy that isn't the comic reader. And that's saying something, and that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. That's exciting. That's what I need. We need more people to open it. Like right now, that's our main challenge is getting people to read it. But once they read it, like I haven't met someone who read it and was like, "This is crap." Like that's never happened.
And it won't. Yeah.
And it won't happen because and I'm the type that can play devil's advocate hater on things. I love to do that. And I can't find stuff to hate on in the book. It's difficult for me and it's kind of upsetting. But I think it's awesome, and I can't wait for more, and we'll keep donating and doing our best to push you guys along.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Laurie, thanks so much for stopping by. We wish you the best, and we can't wait for more to see of your awesome costumes and whatnot. The awesomeness that comes from you. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Jane.
Mare.
And Tonelli.
For the Wizard Nerdcast. Have a nice night.
Awesome. Laurie, thank you so much again for coming on. This was really fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot.